A landfill site near London may seem an unlikely location for a wildlife film, but in fact, as far as foxes are concerned, it's one of the best. In just 1 square mile of unofficial wildlife sanctuary live more than 30 adult foxes. With no fear of man, these animals allow us to get a unique insight into their lives and their loves. Mr. and Mrs. Dunlop, so called because of their long partnership and their choice of towers for a home, are unusual among foxes. They've reared 3 generations of cubs, but nevertheless every winter during the mating season that relationship is put to the test. Rival males force Mr. D to defend his mate and his territory. It's a demanding time. The pipeline marks the edge of the Dunlop range, and a rival, scent marking on the border, signals a threat. Another male's odour is a red rag to a fox. Mr. D tries to mask the smell by urinating and smearing his own scent on the ground from glands in his feet. With arched back and strutting gait, the 2 foxes size each other up. But this rival is not backing down. They seem evenly matched. Mr. D is determined to hold on to his home and his partner and moves in. They typically fight with heads side by side, attempting to bite the opponent's face or neck. Despite their thick winter coats, wounds caused by these encounters can be extremely serious, even fatal. Mr. D has seen off the rival, but he's still under pressure. Mrs. D has gone missing. He calls to find her. January is the only month when the females are in heat. A low-light camera reveals that in the early hours he's tracked her down. But she is in no mood to mate. The vixens are only receptive for a short time. To be successful, Mr. D will have to ensure that he's present at the right moment, whenever that might be. He will have to follow her wherever she goes, guarding her from rival males and constantly making advances. He marks her closely, 24 hours a day. It's dawn on the second morning of high-intensity courtship, and still Mrs. D is not ready, but her scent indicates that the time is nearly right. Mr. D has not left her side and has hardly eaten for days. His attempts to mate often result in frustrating conflicts as he tries to judge her condition. As the moment of mating nears, it becomes crucial for Mr. D to stay with her, however tired he is. A movement of her tail indicates that she's ready. His persistence has paid off. In winter, the tip face is one of the few reliable sources of food. Each week it moves to a different part of the site, from one fox territory to another, and is one of the reasons why all the animals here are so successful. Thousands of migrant gulls join the foxes to feed on the daily cascade of London's leftovers. The gulls dive into an ocean of food, and the opportunistic fox takes advantage of anything that's up for grabs, even if it's on the wing. Some foxes will kill more than they can eat. It's an instinctive reaction. But the surplus food is often cached, buried for hard times ahead. Mr. D has survived the winter, but his efforts to keep his mate have taken their toll. He has lost some of his protective fur coat to mange, caused by burrowing mites, and is blind in one eye, the result of a fight. But protected inside the tires, Mrs. Dunlop has given birth to her and Mr. D's cubs. The 5 were born blind and deaf in the 2nd week of March, but at 3 weeks old they can now see and hear and already have very sharp teeth. Their rough and tumble has become quite vicious as they squabble to establish a pecking order. Mrs. D allows them to develop the fighting instinct necessary for survival, even if it means some cubs being hurt. Mr. Dunlop has a vital role to play, provisioning his family locked away in the towers. With Mrs. D tied to the home, these food parcels are vital to keep her fit and well, and readily taken. Her own dinner must wait. There are hungry cubs to look after first.